Trump stuns world, announces peace deal with Iran. This is the end. We win. World War III is canceled. This is kind of a masterpiece in thumbnail construction, right? See, we've got the YouTuber react face up here. We have Trump presiding over the sort of, you know, Emirati plus Benjamin Netanyahu council. Kind of a Last Supper vibe.
It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Red alert,
Look at how many tabs he's open.
Something massive is about to drop from the Trump administration, and it's not bombs, as potentially referenced here in a late night post from Dan Scavino, the voice of the president. A position of strength, always with the Trump administration. Peace with Iran is what may be dropping in the coming hours. President Trump and his team have just announced that they are ready to make a deal.
You got to start doing that during the start of the video like that. Vague post-maxing is better than something big is happening. That's true. Like, dude, I feel like... I was thinking about this the other day, because people accuse me of being a little bit pessimistic, which I will fault you for. But can you imagine if I had taken what would end up being the correct tenor with all of the, like, Donald Trump prosecution business back when we thought Merrick Garland might actually do something? Like, imagine if the gift of Apollo had struck me right in the forehead and I was like, nope, Merrick Garland won't do anything. Biden won't do anything. None of this will amount to anything. The J6 inquiries will amount to nothing. All the people who are being arrested for J6 will be pardoned by Trump's government when he wins in 2024. They're actually going to have $1.8 billion in a federal slush fund, like, distributed between them as a reward for attempting to overthrow the government on Trump's behalf. If I was saying all that shit, I feel like I would have gotten in a lot of trouble for my pessimism, and yet now everything is happening. Yeah, everyone would be like, oh man, so gloom and doom, you know? Why is he so doomer? He's so doomer. Merrick Garland will fucking arrest Trump any day now. And yet, why is it that people aren't hyper competent despite all the ghouls being hyper educated? Because being educated doesn't make you competent. In fact, like, I would argue a lot of these Ivy League fucks aren't even really educated. They just go there so they can get in with the alumni and rape kids the way their dads did when they were students. What actually makes you competent is adversity, and these people have never experienced it once in their lives. Like, the reason old leaders had to be competent was because the consequence of their incompetence would be they would be deposed by a vizier and replaced. If they lost at warfare, it didn't... Like, if Trump loses a war, as he's doing right now, by the way, he just gets to sit in his bubble getting jerked off by everyone around him. It used to be if you fucked up in geopolitics to this level, you would fucking... They would get you, man. They would sack your city. No, competence is a byproduct of adversity, and there is no adversity. The American and broadly Western ruling class has been shielded from it because power has been displaced from the political apparatuses to the economic. Businesses and corporatists have been running the actual show, so they're the only ones who have to deal with the consequences of their bad policy. Not even anymore, now that everything's financialized. It used to be it was possible to be bad at running a business, but now it's not even... Now being good at running a business is just like finding a way to convince gullible investors to dump their money. It doesn't even have anything to do with running the business. It's all financial. Nobody in charge has to be competent anymore.
It's 4 p.m. on a Saturday, and President Trump has been working hard at the White House since early this morning. This man is focused and determined.
Like, look at how low the standard is here, man. It's 4 p.m. on a Saturday, and the president's working. Can you believe that? At 4 p.m. on a Saturday, the president is working. Unprecedented.
This from President Trump's communication director, as President Trump canceled all weekend plans, canceled all of his Labor Day plans. He's missing his son's wedding, Don Jr. And President Trump is locking in order to get peace with Iran. Trump reveals details of a very good call with world leaders, says an agreement for peace with Iran has been negotiated. The final hurdles are yet to be cleared.
Is he reading these for the first time? I think he is. I think the reason he has so many tabs open is because one of his assistants just like found every link relevant to the topic for the snippet, and he's reading them live for the first time. I don't think he curated these links himself. He's clearly reading these titles for the first time.
What could the final hurdle be?
How many views does this have? 400,000? Maybe I should lower my standards. Yeah, 362,000.
Final hurdle could probably be the memes that President Trump, the United States of the Middle East, this is Donald Trump posting this today, It could be Netanyahu. I mean, let's just call it what it is. It could be President Trump working this deal out with Israel, or better yet, proving that Israel doesn't actually control our president. I suppose time will tell, but let's go ahead.
Most cucked by Zionist award, raped by Israel award, #1 recipient of Mossad slush fund money reward, we're not controlled by Israel award.
And look at the breaking news from our president and from the reporters outside of the White House. Exclusive, the U.S. and Iran are expected to announce finalization of a peace deal to end the fighting on all fronts by Sunday afternoon, potentially tonight. A source close to the negotiations
Are you showing this to us so we appreciate the work you put in more? I'm not going to lie, that was not my intention when I first clicked in this video, but that's kind of the... I think I might be... Yeah, we could dual purpose this a little bit. Yeah, maybe you people should show me a little bit more respect, huh? You have no idea how far down the rabbit hole goes, man. It's crazy because sometimes I feel like a gibbering retard coming up here and presenting in all my, you know, with all my verbosity, essentially tweets to you guys. But then I take a look at what the standard is for my, you know, for my peerage. And it's like, damn, you know, we've got to be in like the 90th percentile at least. At least.
The Washington Times. Trump held breakthrough call with Gulf leaders on Iran. Trump is expected to inform Netanyahu of the deal's terms tonight.
Trump, as you mentioned, telling Axios that he would hold a meeting with negotiators today to go over this latest deal with Iran. And one regional diplomat telling Fox News' Trey Yingst in the Middle East, quote, regional leaders were supportive of the progress and of the breakthroughs that President Trump achieved in these talks. We also heard the president say that it was 50-50 whether or not there would be a deal reached.
Well, that's changed. The odds have now skyrocketed, ladies and gentlemen. National security top officials called to the White House for an emergency meeting. Something big is going to be announced soon. A regional source says that all Arab and Muslim leaders on the call with Trump Saturday urged him to go ahead with the deal to de-escalate the situation. The message from everyone was, please stop the war for the benefit of the whole region. According to the regional source, the negotiations are moving well, and the mediators hope to conclude the one-page framework agreement tomorrow, announce it, and the mediators want to initiate negotiations on a detailed agreement to finalize what's happened and what has happened. J.D. Vance made an unplanned return to Washington. His motorcade raced the White House, no advance notice.
Is English not his first language? He seems to be having difficulty enunciating words. It's just because he's bored and reading all this for the first time. I don't know. To me, I guess it's kind of like... It's indicative that they don't even bother to construct the narrative anymore. Like, there's so much misinformation out there that if he wanted to, he can make basically any point about Iran, but he just decides to chuff through this pre-curated list of like marginally related links, you know? Everyone's bored by this. Again, like, I'm Fukuyama pilled. Everyone's just bored. I think, like, the boredom is a consequence of a lack of consequence, isn't it, right? Life is never boring when you're teetering on the brink of death, but when you're completely insulated from the consequences of your actions, and every fuck-up or victory is just like, well, the you know, 13-digit number attached to your bank account balance goes up or down a little bit, like, of course you're going to get bored. Life is in the struggle. The fascists were correct about this. It's just modern fascists don't seem to be interested in actually struggling.
Trump summoned a full national security team, Hegseth, Kane, the whole National Security Council, not a briefing, a decision meeting. Trump scheduled a 1 p.m. call with the leaders of Arab nations. It went very well. The Rome round of U.S.-Iran talks ended with without a breakthrough.
Oh my God, he's like so bored.
Uranium enrichment surrendered. According to Ahmad Tatha, Emirati expert in strategic and political affairs. It has surrendered the terms. If it breaks them, it will be broken. Increasingly isolated in the region, Trump called the Gulf leaders before making a final decision, a sign that the region is now closer to the region. America happened.
Oh my God.
Where we are.
Read it.
A critical note with all of the work that's been done.
A critical note. All right, hold up, everybody. Now we're really getting into the weeds.
President Trump has this deal at the 1 yard line, is what he's saying. I'm in the Oval Office right now. I just had a very good call with all the Arab leaders, Egypt, Pakistan, UAE.
How'd this guy get popular? Well, he used to put a lot more effort in. Benny Johnson's not the stupidest guy in the in the like right-wing griftosphere, not even close. He's actually relatively smart. It's just, again, he's bored. I think also there's been a shift in the intention of a lot of this like conservative political media, where there used to be a lot of energy behind it, a lot of like, we're on the outside, we're the Mavericks, we're fighting to change the culture. But now it's like, okay, Epstein files, failure in Iran. At this point, we're just like salvaging dust, right? Like now, when a conservative goes on YouTube to watch this slop, they're just trying to be convinced that they're not, like, responsible for everything happening here, you know? Like they just want to, they want their insecurities sort of salved a little bit. They're like, well, wait, it's not really as bad as it seems, right? He's not actually a retarded pedophile who's raping the country to death, right? And they're just getting like the drip feed. But there's not much intentionality behind it, you know? They just want reminders. Remember Benny Johnson took millions of dollars from the Russian government? Sure, but like, I don't know. She is also taking money from the American government. Arguably, that's a lot more evil.
Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Jordan.
Oh, he's not even going to read
Bahrain. Concerning the Islamic Republic of Iran and the things related to the Memorandum of Understanding.
Oh, he didn't want to read all the Muslim-y names. I get you.
For peace.
Me too, brother.
An agreement has largely been negotiated subject to finalization between the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran. The various other countries listed will also be in the peace agreement separately. I have a call with Bibi Netanyahu of Israel.
Too embarrassing for him. They do be adding too many names to their names, okay? It's not an Islamophobia thing, all right? I'm sure that you wouldn't want to read like an 80 character Eastern European name either, okay?
Which likewise went very well. Final aspects of the detail went very well with Bibi Netanyahu. That's not what we hear. We'll get to that in just one second. Final aspects of the deal are currently being discussed and will be
Koczynski's anglicized. It gets worse if you actually go out east.
Shortly. In addition, many other elements of the agreement, Strait of Hormuz, will be open, says President Trump. This is the first real sign in a long time that Trump may be willing to yank Israel's chain like Reagan had to. It also lends a bit more credibility to the sideline Netanyahu stories. He is president of the United States. He can do what he pleases.
Fucking desperate to prove that they're not being led around by Israel like a little bitch. The reason Israel has so much clout over this administration is because they're the only fascists with intentionality. Like, the Trump administration is just driftless. All they know how to do is market manipulation. They just follow Trump around desperately looking for like pointers on how to please him so that they can get the endorsements they'll need to continue being wealthy and powerful after Trump inevitably dies of old age or, I don't know, brain leakage or whatever. But Netanyahu is at least guided by an underlying principle of maximum genocide, which does, you know, at least it leads you in a direction.
It's obviously something that we've argued, right? Nobody bosses Trump around. It's good for Trump to do what is in the best interest of America.
It's like I keep saying, guys, he's not actually cucked by Israel. We're not cucked by Israel.
To the president of Turkey, he says, President Trump is the leader the world has been waiting for. Now comes the dunking on the neocons, which I'm here for. Looks like President Trump has thankfully stopped listening to war hawks like you. That's not a problem for anyone but you.
We're still anti-war. We're still pro-isolationism. We definitely didn't get involved in this war because Israel told us to, in spite of what Israel and Trump and everyone around them have said. We're in charge. Us!
Mark Levin saying, Houston, there may be a problem. And there are many reports that Bibi Netanyahu's hair is literally on fire. Obviously, the Domino pizza tracker has been popping off as the military works very, very hard. Very pleased to read this. Everybody is...
It is so embarrassing to have to simultaneously toe the line of defending literally everything Trump does, but also defend this, like, fake, you know, MAGA position that you're not doing all of this for Israel. You know what I mean? Like, most of the people who are sort of anti-Zionist from the right, the more like neo-Nazi aligned people, are critical of Trump too, like the Tucker Carlson types. But to simultaneously juggle, like, we're not cucked by Israel, but also everything Trump does is good, that's like a really, really, really tough line to run. The Daily Wire people are more consistent, right? Because they're pro-Israel and pro-Trump, which, like, everything Trump does is... The Republican Party literally just watched, you know, silent as Thomas Massey got out fundraised by $50 billion and primaried out by a guy no one has ever heard of because Israel dropped $1 billion in favor of him. The most expensive House race in American history. Trump endorsed his opponent. Nobody knows who Massey's opponent was. I don't even remember his name. Nobody cares. All we know is that Massey got ran out because he wasn't sufficiently pro-pedophilia and pro-Israel. That's the party you're defending. Trump was abetting the whole process. He was cheering on Massey being ousted. You can't do this bit anymore, man. You can't be pro-Trump and anti-Zionist. It doesn't work.
Really liking this news. This news. An agreement has largely been negotiated subject to the finalization to other countries listed.
He's so bored.
To make sure Mark Levin keeps reading this. U.S. and Iran expected to announce a draft peace deal by tomorrow. And Donald Trump.
Oh, wait, sorry. The reason I clicked on this video in the first place was because Donald Trump, after all this hype about him settling on a deal with Iran, just put out, oh, no, we can't work on a deal too quick. We're in no rush, no hurry. Industrial civilization is not on the precipice of collapsing, as many fake news media people have been insisting. So, like, that's like, this video is from yesterday. That's the context to which we're watching this.
Trump saying, Bibi Netanyahu will do whatever I say.
What have you said to Prime Minister Netanyahu about Iran and how long to hold off on strike?
He's fine. He'll do whatever I want him to do.
Yeah, you are the president of the United States, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, bro. Not cucked by Israel. Yeah. No man who is king would have to say so.
Trump says Netanyahu will do whatever I want him to do. I guess we'll find out. Arab source tells me that POTUS held a meeting with Arab leaders. It's all coming together. The call was very positive. Good progress being if Trump does not accept this being made. Yeah, that's true. Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu is very concerned about the current peace, and Trump achieved a very positive why this war started in the first place. Is doing when there's sort of this dark cloud of Iran hanging over. Be done with it. You know, that's my opinion on this channel. We support the president. I'm not second guessing the president. I'm not the commander in chief.
God, not second guessing the I can't. The mindset of these people is just beyond me, man. Not second, just, I don't know. Fundamentally, it's just a submissive mindset that I can't relate to at all. I just can't imagine liking or being so subservient to any political figure that I would admit that I'm not going to second guess them.
But we do understand the political realities of our country. That's what we're here to save. So let's get about saving it. It's your boy Benny. Pray for peace today. And pray for wisdom for President Trump right now, please. See ya.
Great. Cool. He puts out like 50 of these a day, doesn't he? 6 million subs. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. One of the top conservative channels right now. Thoughts on the idea that Trump's given up over winning the public and doesn't care what happens to MAGA/GOP after his minute? Well, Trump has never cared what happens to the GOP at any point. Like, Trump has never... It's not so much that Trump doesn't think he can win over people anymore. It's that he thinks that his presidential viability is getting sabotaged by the Republican Party. He literally said this in 2025 during the special elections. He was like, well, if they do badly, it's because I wasn't on the ballot. It's their fault. He doesn't care. It's like he's a malignant sociopathic narcissist. It's not... In addition to him being, like, senile, it's like a soup up there, right? He doesn't give a fuck what happens to the party. It's just embarrassing the party hasn't developed a contingency plan for what happens after Trump. I've heard there are rumors coming out of the White House that J.D. Vance and Rubio are considering invoking the 25th. No. Don't believe any of the rumors that you hear. They're hardline. Anyone who invoked the 25th against Trump would be fucked in their future presidentials. They have no plan. There is no plan. The people in charge, the steering wheel is broken off the steering column. There's no plan here. They have not developed any alternative to Trump. And what people need to realize, and this is why I've been so pessimistic about the future prospects of the Democratic Party, is that the shape of this country is very much like that of a funnel, you know? It doesn't matter what you do or how you position things. The funnel has one job, and it's to move liquid from, a wide range of positions up top to a very narrow range of positions down bottom. There isn't really any set of policies that you could implement that would change this fundamental reality. You know, it could be Trump, it could be anyone else. It doesn't matter. The system will continue as it is right now until it collapses. The wheels will continue to grind. The ball bearings will, shift and buckle until it all breaks. Trump is just a catalyst for this process. He is uniquely stupid and egotistical and thoughtless. Another person maybe could hold it off for a bit, but only for a bit. It's not going to change the direction the water's moving in. Why do you think it'll clap? 6'7"? Nice name, by the way. You're here for every stream. I see you frequently. I notice you have a white name. How interesting. You get a lot of free content? You watch, you know, split cable from your neighbor's devices? You watched me long enough to know my answer to that. Nice prompt, though. Thank you. Get a job. But no, Trump doesn't care what happens to the future of the party. It doesn't really matter. He doesn't believe there's a future after him. Maybe. I think that to an extent, can I get like really 20th century like literature pilled for a second? Can I get a little bit esoteric with it? I think that to a large extent we are where we are because neoliberalism has done away with the concept of honor. Neoliberalism and neoconservatism are fundamentally duplicitous ideologies. The goal is to distract the public with inane culture war nonsense so that you can get away with transferring power from the body politic to the body corporate. And they have been enormously successful in doing this. But it's an innately insincere effort, which breeds in its, in its advocates insincerity. And insincere people are dishonorable, certainly in politics, if not anywhere else. I think that like even dishonest politicians 100, 200 years ago, they might have been more concerned with things like legacy or reputation than those today. I think a good way of understanding this is that Nixon was a massive piece of shit and an incredibly dishonest man, but he was much, much more concerned with protecting his legacy and his reputation than Trump seems to be today. In spite of how openly duplicitous and dishonest he was, he still had like a I don't know, on some instinctual level, or he had an emotional bias towards the idea of protecting his image as an honorable man, even in the face of all contrary evidence. And I think that over time, our leadership has just gotten more shameless. You understand what I'm talking about? Shamelessness. They're not afraid of being seen as duplicitous freaks anymore. I think this is unique. I think that if you go back sometime, 100 whatever years ago, I think that from earlier politicians to the aristocracy, they were much more concerned with maintaining an image of reputability and class and distinction, even if they were openly evil people, you know? I mean, you can see this to an extent, I think, in like the Southern gentile, the aristocracy of the South, pre and post Confederacy. These are very evil men, very bad people, but they were interested in maintaining the artifice of civility, of grace, in spite of, you know, being who they were. Did Obama care about legacy? Oh my God, that's all he cares about. Obama refuses to meddle in current democratic affairs overtly because he's terrified of alienating even a tiny sliver of the Democratic base. It's all he cares about. Nah, sorry, Vaush, this sounds like Mussolini getting disillusioned and inventing fascism from first principles. Hey, he didn't invent fascism, okay? He stumbled into it. No one conceptualized fascism and then implemented it. There were people who conceptualized it and people who implemented it accidentally. Rarely is there an overlap. It's an anti-intellectual ideology. It's only ever something you can stumble into. It's a byproduct of conditions, not a goal to set towards. At any rate, you know, pardon me for believing that men of virtue should lead the country, or women, or non-binary people, I guess. As if we're ready for that. We can't even get a woman president. Can you imagine non-binary president? You get me. Roughly 77% of respondents told a CNN survey Trump's policies have driven up the cost of living. That is an astonishingly high number of people. My word. Somebody linked this as well. Republicans who strongly approve of Trump's job. 4 months ago, 72%. Today, 57%. That's actually really bad. Only 57% of Republicans strongly approve? In that cult? That's really, really bad. And we haven't even hit the wall on petroleum yet. I mean, we'll get there. God damn. You might get a non-binary president if they're perceived as basically just a guy by the public. Misread. America might have trouble getting a female president, but if we ever did have a non-binary president, they would be AFAB. Sorry, calling it like it is. You know what I'm talking about, okay? We might struggle to get a woman president, but if we ever dipped into the non-binary president category, that's how it would go down. No hate. Why does it matter? It doesn't. I'm just calling it like it is. I'm a shot caller. What can I say? Do you think we'll get our first gay president before our first woman president? I guarantee you we've already had our first gay president. Do you think it's possible for his approval to sink any lower? Yes. I guess my hope is that Trump fucks it up so spectacularly that Republicans become permanently disillusioned and just never vote or believe in anything again. If they could simply wilt like dying plants and recede into the cracks in the earth and never again trouble me or my countrymen, I think that would be nice. If every person who has ever voted for Trump could just recede, that would be ideal. I would like the disillusionment with democracy to exclusively affect them, but in order for that to happen, we need some good goddamn Democrats to believe in. Or country women and country non-binary people. Yeah. But old people will keep on voting, won't they? Well, I don't know. Sure, I guess some of them. Maybe. Or they'll die, as old people are wont to do. Whatever you want. I don't care. Whatever. I'm not bothered. Whatever you prefer. It's okay. It's fine. I'm not mad. Don't put in the papers that I'm mad. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, we were looking at Benny Johnson. Well, you know.